We often think about the idea of having a healthy relationship. I'm not sure exactly what that means to each one of you, but I know this. One of the keys, in fact, maybe the first key we should start out with in having a healthy relationship is first having a healthy you. I like to think that we're split up into four parts as humans: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. And if we don't take care of those four quadrants, then we are going to be unhealthy. But I've learned something throughout the years that I've studied again and again, read a lot on, and I find it's crucial that we have this understanding. When we think of ourselves in those four ways, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, we typically look at a box and we think it's divided evenly. Each section has 25% that makes up the whole of who we are. And we often think, well, if I take care of each one of those sections, 25%, 25%, 25%, 25%, well, then I'll be healthy. But the truth is that those boxes are not equally broken up. In fact, if we don't understand this, we can be really healthy in three of those areas, but actually very unhealthy because one is out of proportion. And then if we're unhealthy, then we become unhealthy in all of our relationships, whether we're a father, a mother, a son, a daughter, a boss, an employee, etc. My professor in seminary had a great illustration. He said, we get up every morning and we have four slices of apple on our nightstand. And you go, where's this going? Well, those four slices of apple, they represent our emotional energy for the day. And he said we have to be careful because that's all we get. We get four slices, and we can burn through that emotional energy in the first few hours of the day. A driver cuts us off and we lose some of our emotional energy. We get to work, our boss lands a project on our desk that we weren't expecting, we lose some emotional energy. And then by afternoon, we're on fumes, and by the time we get home, emotionally, we're shot. Now, we might be in great shape physically, mentally, spiritually, but the key is our emotions are the governor to the other three areas of our life. It's like the marionette puppets, the strings. Well, you have the puppet, which is the physical and the mental and the spiritual, but the person operating the strings is the emotion. And if you're low on the emotional end and you don't have enough energy, then all of those suffer. I love this example. You might be wiped out physically. You might be mentally drained. And you might be spiritually, barely breathing, but you might be emotionally charged. And so if someone asks you to do something in one of those other three areas, go skiing, lead a small group or whatever, you feel like you can do it, and you can because you have the emotional energy. And just the opposite. You might be in the gym, you might eat right, you might be doing your spiritual disciplines, you might be studying and going to school and learning, and all of those three areas are just firing. But emotionally, if you don't take care of yourself, those three suffer. You kind of stop back and go, what's going on? I'm doing all these things, and yet I feel like I am not where I should be. And again, that directly affects all of the relationships in your life. So people then have this mindset. Well, when I get up in the morning, I'll just be really careful about how I spend those four slices of apple. Where I spend my emotional energy, I'll be very careful. But this is where my seminary professor had great insight. He said, why not learn to make more apples in your basket? Why not learn how to wake up in the morning and have 3 or 4 apples sliced into pieces of emotional energy so you have plenty for the day? I don't know why he used the apple illustration, but it stuck with me and it made sense. Hopefully it makes sense to you. So how do you increase your emotional energy so that it can better control the other 3 areas of your life and make you healthy and make you better in relationships? Well, without getting too detailed, it really comes down to a few things. What are the things that you do that you get lost in that build you up emotionally? And they might be in one of those other 3 realms. It might be something physical or mental or spiritual. But now, like for me, emotionally, I have 5 things that I strive to do every day, but at least every week. I need to go to the gym. I need to have my quiet time. I need to talk with my family, connect with my family, and most likely laugh. I need to read a good book that's just teaching me something or giving me insight. And then the fifth one is I need to do something musically. I need to play my guitar, I need to play the drums, I need to sing, I need to write a song. And those are the things for me that build me up emotionally, that then give me the energy to drive the other three and to stay on top of the ball when it comes to relationships and who I am. Now, for you, it might be something different. For my wife, it's a complete different realm of what charges her emotionally. My boys, well, the one has to do projects like writing and Legos and fixing and doing and all those things. I would be drained emotionally if I had to do things with my hands to be charged up emotionally. In fact, it would do just the opposite. But that's where one key insight is asking yourself, when you were in middle school and high school, what were the things that you got lost in? What were the things that you enjoyed? Again, I think back to high school, middle school. I loved singing in the shower, making up songs and melodies in my head. I loved getting a good book and reading and writing down notes from that book. And all the things that I reflect back on in middle school and high school that, again, I found this state of flow that I got lost in, I now kind of redo those as an adult in different ways. And I find that when I look back and see what charged me up and what I got lost in middle school and high school, and time would just fly by, when I do those now in my life as a 57-year-old man, it does just the same. It charges my battery. Emotionally, it goes through the roof, and then the other three areas are very easy to pour into and to govern. And most of all, it makes me healthy. And no one wants to be around an unhealthy, emotionally drained Garth. In fact, I don't even want to be around me when I'm like that. So, just a thought. If you want the healthiest relationships possible, make sure that you have the healthiest you. And one of the key ways is taking care of you emotionally. Hope this helped. Remember, love is a choice. Stick around for more on Mingle, Mate, and Marry.